cages. But Hydra here, bit of a down arrow these days. He had that big breakout performance in round 2, round 3, but in round 4 he hasn't looked as solid. He's 1-4 in his recent 5 games. He's 3-3 versus Terran. 6-10 overall. Most of those wins, you know, I think in towards the end of round 2 and the beginning of round 3. But he had a terrible round 1, and in round 4 he's not looking that great either. So even though I think he's a great Zerg, not really on point in the last few games he's played.
Definitely not one of the strongest players. Definitely not one of the strongest Zerg players, that's for sure. And very, yeah, not too consistent. But I mean, looking at where KeeN is, looking at his statistics against Zerg especially, he's been pretty, a lot more inconsistent, I would have to say.
Yeah. He's been dubbed the most inconsistent player of all time.
Yeah. I mean, if you go by stats, you look at KeeN, you're like, I don't know, Hydra's very, not very consistent, but he's got a lot of experience, could definitely take this one, but I don't know. KeeN looked really good in his one performance that he came back. He hadn't played for such a long time. I'm really excited to see how he plays in this game.
Well, we're going to go into game number 1 here on Habitation Station, our base that has the gold minerals very nearby to the Terran. See if KeeN decides to float. Let's jump into game number 1 here at the SPL.
Up here in the top left in the yellow, for CJ Ent is a Zerg player. It's Hydra.
And in this first game, KeeN is a very down-to-earth guy. He's playing on the right side of the map.
Will KeeN float was the question. Did not float.
No, not a floater.
What is that?
That means he doesn't float his command center, for those of you who don't know. You can look it up on Urban Dictionary.
Oh, really?
If you look up floater on urbandictionary.com, 100% it'll show up as somebody who lifts their command center on maps like Habitation Station, the old Metalopolis. Yeah, that's Kulas Ravine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Those are floaters, yeah.
I really missed that map as a Zerg player.
Yeah.
I wish it would come back, you know.
Look it up on the Urban Dictionary as a floater.
All right. Yeah. All right. Do it, guys.
So we're going to see a drone scout here, actually.
Very fast scout. Kind of interesting because the main thing you really want to look out for as a Zerg is if it's going to the gold base or not, but obviously not. His Overlord will scout that by himself.
Russia and Korea type in GG here.
Wow.
And Russia leaves the game, and it said that Korea wins.
So obviously World Cup.
Yeah, there's a World Cup reference there. The Chunje there next to the GG is just the thing that appears when you type into all chat. It means that you're typing to all. So it was just a chat reference there.
I also want to mention the other fan sign that we had. It was like, oh, isn't it hard if the game goes longer than 20 minutes? You can win before that, right? That's basically what I was saying, which is funny because both of these players are actually very aggressive players. So I wonder if he's kind of playing on that and be like, well, Hydra, you can go for a Roach Hydra push, and KeeN, you can, you know, do your thing.
Usually this map is pretty aggressive, especially as Terran, but this drone scout scouts everything. Scouts is going to be a 1-rack CC, so a very old-school build. One we don't see that often anymore, and one you'd probably see a bit more on 4-player maps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting builds coming out, but interesting to do a drone scout on this map too. Maybe looking for kind of like a standard kind of 2 racks proxy or something like that.
Yeah, also just, I guess, I don't know, checking the gold base isn't really necessary with the drone because you could just see that with your Overlord.
Yeah, like Overlord sees it pretty much the same time as a 10 drone scout, so it's not really necessary.
I guess, you know, I like this choice by KeeN, but let's see how it plays out because notice he's done some really specific things. Like his barracks placement here is actually pretty unique. That's going to put it back there pretty safe, but now he's got to float it here, as you guys can see.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason for putting it back there and not near the front is that the Overlord cannot scout it, so he might think, oh my god, it's a proxy, I can't see the barracks anywhere. And that's like definitely one way to kind of hide a bit of information. Yeah. And it also forces the Overlord into the main. Sometimes the Overlord will go right into the main, and then like a Marine pops out, and you got a free Overlord. So kind of just some little bit of mind games there, trying to catch out an Overlord.
Yeah. Well, I guess like with this drone scout, at least he's able to feel that confidence of, oh, it's not a proxy.
It was definitely the right choice. It's really smart to do that. Obviously, they've done their research on KeeN and how he's playing his TVZs.
I feel like
on
it's always
Habitation.
smart to scout well against a guy who's going to, you think, be aggressive, a guy who's known for being aggressive, and that could possibly just do something weird. It's always, I feel like, a very safe play to just get that scout down, and I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
SCB
mean,
gets out.
KeeN is very well known for his Hellion play. And we're going to see Hellions pop up here in just a moment when that factory started. He takes a fast third command center first, and I think that's actually maybe going to go to the gold base based on KeeN's play style. I think he could actually float that. The only reason I'm not certain is because he doesn't make it towards the left side of his base. I feel like if he were going to float, he'd make it all the way to the left, but the advantage of making it next to a CC, as you see here, is that the Overlord doesn't actually see it as easily.
Well, that's like a very important scout for the Zerg. I mean, if they get the scout on the third CC, they know they're kind of being greedy. They know there's no kind of like two-base timing coming at all. Whereas if you don't scout that CC, you kind of got to be a bit more defensive. You got to be very wary, and you got to have a Baneling Nest ready. You got to have Banelings ready, and you got to be really on the lookout for anything like Hellbats at this stage. And yeah, there's a lot of timings these days.
And notice KeeN uses the old school two structure wall there at the bottom of the ramp. That's pretty. I mean, that is as old school as it gets. I mean, he had to kill the plates to make that because the plates, be added, so you can't do this to a Zerg player. But with that Diva there, he's gonna have a lot of coverage. Easy to stop lings. Like secondarily, it's like he's gonna have two sets of walls for stopping run-bys. Roachborn goes down here because I feel that he didn't see the third CC, and so he doesn't know if there's an armory coming up. He doesn't know, what the next step is here, and he's just gonna do this safety-wise. But I say that it's Hydra. He could be doing a timing.
Well, he's banking.
Also, he's banking stuff. He's making Overlords, and he's making a Baneling Nest as well.
Oh yeah, this is actually not just a defensive.
This is
Roachborn.
Hydra, man.
This is the Roach Bane, and I mean, it's not a bad choice against such a greedy opening.
He really didn't see the third CC, though, which is funny because if he saw it, then he would be like 100% more likely to do this.
Yeah. Maybe he's kind of confident that, you know what, I haven't seen Hellions out really at a faster timing. It's probably a third CC behind there somewhere. So
a reasonable expectation. Now, this Banshee is going to be very critical in the defense. He's going to want to target down Banelings with that once those start morphing. Before that, he's going to hit Roaches. Now he sees the Roaches coming across the map. Needs to get that wall set up, and needs to set up some bunkers.
Good.
More than he already has. He's already got one, but I think maybe a second bunker would be a good choice.
Good idea with the Banshee here. I really like this as defense. It's going to be in the air. It's going to be so hard to kill with things that can't shoot in the air. Still, it's so much on the ground. He's got to stop that first, but it's going to provide a lot of DPS. He's also got two bunkers here and a decent wall, but it's depots.
Oh, here we go. He's running up here now. Hellion's getting some decent shots off, but he's only got that one bunker here at the front. It's easily broken through. Second bunker is going to hold on a little bit longer, and Banelings and Roaches easily burst that down. The Banshee over here, it looks like he's going for Roaches. Now starts to target the Banelings. Good choice. Baneling actually kills the Marine regardless, and this is a lot of damage being done here, but I'm not sure it's quite enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of damage, but it is 3 CC, so 3 times Mules can make catch-up very easy, and this many Roaches and Banelings is a huge investment.
Yeah, and Hydra's not planning to follow this up. He made like 15 drones to follow this up, so he's just trying to saturate that third base and get the economic lead here. He has denied mining for a long time, but like you mentioned, still 3 Mules.
Only 8 SCVs, that's actually not that many for this kind of investment.
KeeN did a really good job differently from Maru yesterday, of saving a lot of his SCVs there, which is very important, especially when you move to that third base.
Yeah,
certainly.
And 1-1 is kind of ahead for KeeN, so he could do some good timings behind this, and he's going for the gold base, so he's going to catch up on economy very quickly.
Yeah, with this type of play, with all the units he just traded against and the Hellions he saved that survived that, he's got a decent amount of map control to take this. I think it was probably his plan from the beginning, but now the situation has arose where I think it's very easy for him to take this for now. Looks like he's also going to be adding a few siege tanks in to help secure that base. The first one is halfway done, and this means that he needs a little bit more time to get this base up, get those barracks powered up. These Hellions over here almost caught. I think at least a few of them will definitely get surrounded. One gets down, 2,
3, and oh no, the third one sneaks away to the top. I didn't even see that. Yeah, the Lings with speed, especially on creep, it's going to be hard to harass here.
And the Banshee's like, stay away from my Hellions.
Oh, but the Zerg scouts the gold base, going to get a few SCVs, but more importantly knows it's here and knows what's going on, so he can definitely...
Uh-oh, no wall at the front.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is really hurting. I feel like just not having a tight wall here. I think he was expecting a bigger Roach Baneling follow-up or something, especially with all these Marauders here at the front. This is just very expensive to lose. These Banshee being used for defense here, that's kind of a desperation move. But, you know, KeeN has actually taken a supply lead here, and once he does finally get some SCVs over that gold base, I think he's actually just transferred from his main.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's doing with those 3 we just saw there. We can just send some SCVs over there and get a bunker up. Just a bunker alone would help him so much. I don't know what those guys were doing. I don't know what this one's doing.
They might have been actually fleeing. I don't know exactly.
No, look at that rally.
Oh, you rallied the whole CC over
God.
there.
Oh, wow. A bit of a
That explains why there were only 3 SCVs for so long.
It scouts the Zerglings.
There's another one coming.
It scouts the Zerglings. This is kind of important scouting here. He knows exactly what's coming, so he can be ready for it. No more run-bys.
Well, 1-1 is done now.
KeeN is actually in a very good position here. That Roach Baneling just didn't do enough work, and he's really taking the lead here. Getting that gold base really helps a lot. And I mean, Mutas are going to come out soon, which is going to definitely catch up in supply and really open this map up again.
Well, he's got turrets.
Oh, God.
Some weird run-bys here.
Yeah,
Three sneaky Zerglings down there. No, he's going to find it.
I think he was like, maybe if they don't get seen, I'll make Banelings.
Oh, I was like, you probably just didn't even realize they were alive. Like,
that's honestly a reasonable explanation as well, Moonblade.
He's like, wait, like, they actually survived and they're down here.
Well, we got 12 mutas on the way. It seems like KeeN, I saw him putting up a bunch of turrets before. Yeah, he's putting them all around his base, so he knows this is coming. Reasonable expectation.
Yep.
No Thors just yet, though.
No Thors just yet. Not too necessary until the army gets a bit bigger, the mutable gets a bit bigger. For now, Marines will suffice. But he's got to be very careful. I mean, he doesn't really have much AoE. He's making tanks, no Widow Mines whatsoever, so dealing with Ling Bane is going to be pretty tricky. It's going to require a very good position and probably off creep at this point. And he has been clearing it, which has been really good.
Well, this turret goes down very rapidly. He's going to actually take out the Banshee as well here. Marines come just a bit too late. Actually, should not lose any of those mutas.
Yeah, good harass there. Definitely need a few extra turrets for that base. It's so easy to harass with Mutalisks.
Yeah, and now he's coming over here. He's just going to pick off the turrets, it looks like, you know, as long as you don't lose anything for it. Loses a muta, that's not the best trade, but if you pick off the turrets later, you know, they're not going to be around, so it's just forcing the Terran to have to remake those. Be attentive. Oh, this is bad control here.
Not looking. I think he was distracted with the Terran creeping the creep, killing the creep down here.
He keeps trying to do these run-bys that are just, like, not well fated, you know? It's like, well, okay, let me just right-click a bunch of links here. It's like, no, his army's still there, man.
Yeah, I mean, one day it'll work, and it'll do a lot of damage, so he's probably banking on that. I mean, it's good to always stay active like that, keep the Terran kind of spread out a lot. You want to keep them in their base. So if they're in their base and you're wasting a few Zerglings to do it, it's definitely worth it.
He is actually just trading so many of these Mutalisks away. I mean, he's got the economy to where I guess it's okay, but it's very expensive what he's doing some of these trades.
Yeah, not the best Muta micro. He could be pulling some back that are getting focused, but maybe he's too focused on the macro right now. He's definitely getting ahead. His creep spread kind of lacking since the Terran has been killing all the creep tumors.
He has a very fast infestation pit. Most Zergs will not get this early.
Yeah, I actually really like it a lot. And considering how defensive KeeN has been, going straight into tier 3 would be very good.
Nice catch here on the medevac. Well, he spots it at least, doesn't actually grab it. At least maybe he will.
He will.
It's about to run out.
Yeah, it runs out.
Nice.
Marines come over, but it's not enough. Yeah. Another drop coming over here. This is doing it pretty easily.
Yeah, canceled the 5th though. And some good harass on the gold here.
Yeah, killing so many SCVs. KeeN's starting to lose his hold that he had on this game. He's got, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he has a 4th CC. Yeah, it's about to land there at the 4th base. Hive is on the way, so that's what the infestation pit is for. Now he's going to be able to get 3-3 upgrades with that really fast. And a Zerg player will fight 2-2 versus 3-3 for a lot of ZVTs for a long time, but if you can get actually even upgrades against a Terran, it's so great for you. And this army is got to pick up and get out of here, but there are too many mutas. The chase.
See, this is the problem with not going any Widow Mines whatsoever. You can't really trade effectively in these skirmishes. You kind of just have to run or split amazingly. And whoa, we see a lot of Banelings making 44.
Is that true in the booth?
This is kind of crazy. I mean, considering how many siege tanks have been made, this may be a mistake. But we'll have to wait and see how this engagement goes.
Yeah, this is actually a lot of siege tanks here. Would love to see the Baneling count, but I guess we're not going to. Baneling's just crashing through, hitting whatever they want. Tanks, Thors, Marines, whatever he can connect with. He's just going to keep pushing the advantage. The Mutalisks actually killing tanks when the Marines run away from them. So Baneling's actually split over here now to the gold base. Good pull here by KeeN, though. And actually looks like he's going to save a lot of those, but here come the Banelings. The Marines are not splitting away.
Oh, nice. Focuses him down, I think.
Yeah, that was a close call.
And, I mean, that wasn't the most cost-effective engagement for Hydra, but he did do a lot of damage to the army. Did clear a few SCVs in the gold. But I mean, it's not really game-ending damage or anything like that. There was a lot of tanks set up in perfect position to kind of like just continually shoot the banelings.
Yeah. Well, right now KeeN is hurting resource-wise. He's having a hard time remaxing. Whereas Hydra just continues to harass, attack. It's going to take out these turrets. It looks like then it's just going to start killing these SCVs, the mules. It's really starting to actually hurt. KeeN is bleeding out a little bit right now.
Yeah, he really needs bunkers at these 4th and gold bases because these mutas are just having a field day. More muta harassment. There's nothing in the natural to really fend them off, and he's going to go into the main and find something else, I'm sure.
He's putting his mutas in the main base, and he's running a bunch of lanes towards that 4th base again, or I guess that 5th base location, if you think about it. There's a drop coming over here, which is going to deny that gas, but again, look at this.
Oh, it's a lot of Marines actually are vulnerable here. He kills the planetary as well.
Oh, yeah, that's not
He actually could have left his Zerlings there instead of running them away to fight a few more of those, but he's microing in the main
Hydra
here.
is just taking him apart.
He could actually kill the E-Bays maybe before 3-3 finishes.
Yeah, I mean, the main is his apparently. There's no Marines to stop him at all.
Well, it looks like +3 attack will finish at least, I believe.
No, CC shouldn't die. Oh,
CC.
It could die, but there's too many Marines.
I mean, regardless, I mean, it's
matter.
lifted, it's burning, he's got to spend money to repair money he doesn't have.
I mean, Hydra could actually fly in and take it out. He's circling back.
Yep.
Oh, but the Marines see it.
Well, he's going to get some SCVs. He's like, well, whatever you try to protect, I'll get something else. Oh, look at this, getting long-distance mining SCVs, the rest of these Marines.
Oh, yeah. KeeN is just falling apart completely.
He's losing way too much.
He did not deal with these mutas at all. Like, he just didn't have sufficient defense. And they're doing so much work.
About to be 7 ultras on the map too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 9 siege tanks, but I think with all the banelings, the mutas to support, this is going to be not an army that.
Muta's just throwing away the mutas now. Like, doesn't actually need them anymore. And he wants more ultralists and going into broodlords. So he's in an insane position now. There's nothing really the KeeN can do. He's going to get on the
for a desperation push here. Tanks
are on siege. He actually could just fight them with the banelings, and he does. It doesn't even matter. I mean, yeah, the Marines can kite for a little while, but they don't have any Marauder support. There's one Marauder on the ground, and it's going to get picked off here by SPL2014 in just a second.
Yeah, this is exactly why you don't really see the siege tank kind of army composition anymore. Like it's not as effective as Widow Mines. As you can see, like the fight, if you get caught out at all, you're gonna get crushed. And he never really had any sort of aggression on the map because he had no Widow Mines.
GG. Hydra takes game number 1 here for CJ Antis, getting them already on that momentum once again here in their 5th game. Even Hydra today, he's not doing well too recently here in Pro League, but he comes out here and he smashes down KeeN. Really nice game here. I have to hand it to him.
That was just a fun game. He just had fun that game. He macroed it up, got a 4th base, didn't really take too much damage from anything, and just got mutas and did work with them.
Yeah, the Hellions were late. The harassment early on, did so much damage to him with the Roach Baneling attack. Well, I wouldn't say it was even a massive amount of damage, but it was enough to like keep KeeN back for a while.
Yeah, it was enough to like crush the army to the point where he can't push out and do a bit of economic damage to the most important base, the gold base, and from there kind of just take an extra base, go to tier 3, get ultras, get upgrades, and harass mutalisks for way too much.
Yeah, he was just like, basically so defensive for the rest of that game that he was eventually able to get 86 drones. That was how much he had at the end of the game. Your 4th base was completely uncontested for so long.
He just had total map control for so much of that game, almost all of it. There was a point where, before the mutas came out, KeeN was on the map trying to clear some creep, but then he had to come back once the mutas came out, and he just didn't have sufficient defense, and from there, Hydra just took bases. And we saw a bunch of drops that were ill-fated get cleaned up really easily. And from there, Hydra, he just had too good of an economy.
Yeah, I really want to see KeeN do well again, guys. Like, he was such a great player.
Well, he played really well. He played his last match really well.
Yeah.
It was a good game. But
I feel like he just gets unlucky a lot of the time, too, with his games. I get that feeling where it's just like,